Hello, my name is Raymond Gilpin, and I head the Strategy Analysis and Research team at UNDP's Regional Bureau for Africa in New York. Sincere thanks to the government and people of Japan for inviting UNDP to be part of this important symposium. The global effects of the war in Ukraine have disrupted Africa's post-COVID recovery. After exceeding expectations in 2021, with a growth rate of 4.7%, economic growth in Africa fell in 2022. This has made it difficult for countries to attain the 2030 Sustainable Development Goals. The global effects of the war in Ukraine affected African economies in three important ways. First, it affected the demand for African exports and increased the costs of Africa's imports. This reduced export earnings across Africa and worsened the continent's trade balance. Second, price increases in major global economies increased the costs of African imports, particularly food and fuel. On average, domestic inflation in African countries more than doubled from 3.5% before COVID to 8.9% by mid-2022. Third, a combination of an increased need to borrowing because of weak economic performance and rising global interest rates worsened debt stress across Africa. Today, 8 African countries are in debt distress, and an additional 13 are at a high risk of debt distress. Each and every day, these countries have to make a difficult decision as to whether they invest in development or use their money to service their debt. The effect of all of these factors has not only been slower growth. The quality of life and livelihoods of millions of Africans have been put in jeopardy. More specifically, poverty remains entrenched. Food insecurity is more pronounced. Green transitions are now less affordable. Tensions in society are more severe and leading to violence in some cases. And lastly, citizens have less trust in their governments. Putting African countries back on track to attain the Sustainable Development Goals, particularly in the wake of persistent global and environmental shocks, will require a new approach. UNDP's 2022 Special Report on Human Security argues for using a human security prism in the face of a new generation of interconnected threats. An African continent free from want, free from fear, and free from indignity requires a judicious interplay of protection, empowerment, and solidarity. At the core of all of this is agency, the ability to hold values and make commitments that advance our collective well-being. This renewed emphasis on human security provides a useful framework for us to articulate a future-smart, human security-focused African continent. It will require significant shift in the narrative, from GDP growth to the growth of human capital, from endemic dependency to meaningful economic sovereignty, from debilitating tensions to social cohesion, from responding to violence to investing in peace, from institutionalized exclusions to include gender, race, and religion, to inclusive growth, and from planetary stress to sustainable green transitions. I appreciate your kind attention, and we at UNDP look forward to working with you as we reimagine and re-engineer a brighter, safer, more sustainable, and more resilient future for each of Africa's 1.4 billion citizens. Please feel free to contact us for further information. Very best wishes for a productive symposium, and thank you very much.